Well, folks, how you all doing? Something a bit random to start things off there for you. You know, not as normal as we normally do. So, folks, hello, y'all. Welcome to this evening's big Glasgow Derby preview show for tomorrow's big game. And you know why I'm playing this song? Have you ever seen the meme for this song on YouTube or whatever? This is the song from basically the African guys dancing at the funeral with the coffin. And obviously, we're playing tomorrow the Zombies, a club who basically are trying to masquerade as a club who won 54 league titles, but we all know that's a load of bollocks, don't we? They died in 2012 and have resurfaced as the Rangers. So 55 titles my hole, folks. So well, welcome on. There's Pedro on, get the revs on. What's the crack, mate? So folks, well, how's all doing? 17 or something on their lives. So let's see if we can all share the feed for me. We're here to 10 o'clock this evening, so let's get as many on as possible, please. See, I'm eating on the tenants tonight. That's an honour, a big smash. Haven't seen him about the place in donkey, so there you go. Right, folks, so welcome along. Who do we have here on? Pedro is on Inverness, or Inverness? In Falkirk. Well, Pedro, what's the crack, mate? And then we have Tracy Edmund, who's watching from Inverness. How you doing, Tracy? Michael Bolton's watching. Well, Mick, good to see you on as usual, mate. Sammy Marshall is watching. Well, Sammy, how you doing? Celtic Ultras, Glasgow Celtic champions on. Well, now, good to see you on, mate. How you doing? Who else do we have? Hugh O'Neill, good to see you back, mate. Not a lot, mate. We're just going to have 2 hours here and have a few beers. We'll get loads of Rebels on, loads of Celtic songs on. Get a bit of buzz for tomorrow's match. That's what this here show tonight is all about. So here we go. Who else do we have on? Michael Turner. Well, Michael, how you doing? From Worthing. Joseph Pearce is watching. Good to see you on, Joseph. Right, so the way we're going to do things is this. I was looking to try and get a few guests in the studio here this evening, but obviously because of the whole COVID and the new restrictions here in the north, in Belfast, it's just not going to happen. And my studio here is in my parents' house. I don't actually live here, but I didn't want to be bringing people in out, trampling out of their house. You know, it's Michelle and Arlene wouldn't be too happy with them all mixing the families and all that there. So basically what I have 6 guys lined up this evening, to come on as guests on the phone, and we're basically going to go over our predicted lineups, or who we'd like to see on the lineup tomorrow against basically the Zombies. So we're going to have from the Glasgow Celtic Champions page, Niall Drain. Then we have a long-term friend of mine, Tony Coleman, probably the most knowledgeable Celtic fan I know here in West Belfast. Then we have a guy from the Four Tims and a podcast, Anthony Whitlow is coming on. Then we have Danny Kelly, singer from Donegal, who was on the show there a few Wednesdays ago. He's going to be on. He's over in Glasgow at the minute, and he's going to throw his tuppence worth in. Have 2 other guys coming on the show. Franny McCann, yes, another long-term friend of mine, probably the guy who taught me everything I know, the majority I know about drumming. Faraz, big Celtic fan, knows a lot about his football, so Faraz will be on the show as well. And Chris from the Erngo Bra Celtic Supporters Club is going to be on. So that's 6 guests over the space of 2 hours, folks. So what I'll ask you as well, if you can all basically stick on your if you have a team, what do you like to see Lenny put out for tomorrow? Put it on the comments and we'll get them on, okay? So right here we go. We'll go to the first it'll be Reb Celtic song for you this evening. So here's Damien Quinn. And this is live from his recorded CD, live in the legendary home of Rebel Sundays in the Rock Bar in Belfast. So here we go. This is Damien Quinn with Over and Over and Hail, Hail.
Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will see. 'Cause we are Celtic supporters, faithful through and through. Over and over, we will follow you. If you go to Germany, you will see a star. France or Spain and so the same, we'll go Well, you can take us anywhere, we won't let you down. Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will see you through. 'Cause we are Celtic supporters, faithful through and through. Over and over, we will follow you. If you go to Lisbon, we'll go once again. In Zaire, you'll find us there, calling out your name. And if you meet supporters, you will always know that we'll be right there with you everywhere you go. Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will see you through. 'Cause we are Celtic supporters, faithful through and through. Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will follow you. Hail, hail, the Celts are here. What the hell do we care? What the hell do we care? Hail, hail, the Celts are here. What the hell do we care now? That it's a grand old team to play for. It's a grand old team to see. You know your history. It's enough to make your heart go. We don't care what the animals say. What the hell do we care? For we only know there's gonna be a show, and the Glasgow Celtic will be there. It's the best old team in Scotland, and the players all love grand. Well, we'll support the Celtic for the honor finest in the land. God bless them, we'll be here to give the boys a cheer when the green flag flies, and the cheers will go up when they know the Scottish Cup going home to Ramsay Paradise. It's the best old team in Europe, and the players all love grand. Well, we'll support the Celtic for the honor finest in the land. God bless them, we'll be here to give the boys a cheer when the green flag flies, and the cheers will go up when they know the Scottish Cup is going home to Ramsay Paradise. Going home to rest in paradise.
Yeah, Hon Damien Quinn there for you, the brilliant Damien Quinn, live from the Rock Bar here in West Belfast with Over and Over and Hail, Hail. There you go, folks. So welcome along. Just started at 8 o'clock here now, so I started off a bit early there, but just to get everybody involved. So, folks, start sharing the feed for me. Share on your timeline, on your Twitter, on any pages you have. I want to try and... I could be doing this here on Facebook Live tonight, but I want to build up the YouTube. I'm just pissed off of Facebook completely. Sick of them knocking me off, sick of them banning me, sick of them muting my songs as soon as my set's finished. I'm just done with them. So seems YouTube is the place to be here. So who do I have on? Got a few, good, but 86 listening now. So let's bump them all up. Here we go. So folks, we want to get your team down. So we're going to be discussing tomorrow's lineup with a load of guests this evening. So basically, if you I'm going to bring the guests on the show, and basically I'll discuss my team women's, and they can discuss their team, who they'd like to see. Obviously, we'll have a load of players that are injured. So we'll get a few mentions here. So Uncle K, how do Uncle K? Hail, hail, boyo. Connor Martin, 10 in a row. Kev, Sons of Ireland. Hail, hail, row. Kev, Laura, there you go. Right, Totes, Celtic Forever. Has given me his team, so he's looking, and I was probably looking to go have a 3-5-2 formation, folks, which I'm hoping anyway. So he's going to go for Barkas, Ayer, Duffy, Julia in the back, Frimpong, and he's wants to start Lexet on the left hand side. Well, Lenny go for it? Don't know, definitely don't know. Then Brown and Colmac and Nitcham in the middle, and then Ajeti and Griff up front. So he wants to go with Griff. So it looks like maybe Eddie might not be starting. Celtic Ultras, Big Danny, here you go. Dylan McGrady, how you doing, Dylan? All right, you big fella, come on, the Rebs. Right, so I had to give a shout out to James Williams, folks, who's my sort of unofficial stat man for the podcast here when it comes to Celtic stuff. He runs like the Celtic, the highly popular Celtic live stream page, along with a load of other sort of Celtic pages. So he gave me a list there last night of all the players who basically aren't available, so we'll know for the Mars match. So basically, Near Beaton, he's out until probably the end of the month. James Forrest, ankle injury. Ryan Christie, which we know now he's going to be quarantined, so he can't take part tomorrow. Mickey Johnson, he's still injured, so he is probably going to be the end of October, we don't know. Edward is still up in the air. Lenny said in the press conference today, he's going to be training and we'll assess, but I think we might see him on the bench tomorrow. I can't see him starting, so I can't. So let's see. We'll see who James. So the full list of team who we do have available for Lenny, if he wants to go for tomorrow. We'll have goalkeepers. We'll have Barkas and Bain, and then defenders we'll have Shane Duffy, Ayer, and Julian. So yeah, Shane Duffy, Christopher Julian, Christopher Ayer. Literally, we will have 3 centre backs available. That's absolutely crazy. And then left backs there we'll have Diego Laxet and Greg Taylor. And preferably, I would love to see this wee man like Laxet starting tomorrow. But I think Lenny is going to go for the tried and tested with Taylor, and then maybe bring on Laxet later on the match. Hopefully, I think for tomorrow, get this wee man on, see what he can do. And then up in for the right wing, we'll have Jeremy Frimpong and Anthony Ralston. Defensive midfielders we'll have available Ismail Soro, who haven't seen much of this guy at all. Luke O'Connell, I know he's there, haven't seen much of him. And then centre mid we'll have available Colmac, Oliver Nincham, David Turnbull, who might get a chance tomorrow, Scott Brown, who has to start tomorrow, first name in the team sheet against this lad, folks. Them have as well. Tackle midfielders we'll have Tom Rogic. Left wingers we'll have Mo El Nusi. And then forwards available we have Albion Ajeti, Patrick Klamala and Lee Griffiths. So folks, stick down your teams and we'll discuss them. So basically stick them down on here and I'll read them out. Kathy Carter tuned in from Liverpool. Kathy, how you doing? Good to see you on. Kathy, yours is excited and nervous for tomorrow. Merseyside Derby too, same time. See tomorrow, I actually think, Kathy, your team, the Blues, are going to win this Merseyside Derby. Just something about Everton this year. I think that there's just something about them. I don't know that they're playing well. Your man has them playing well. They're a great team, and Liverpool, they've been a bit wobbly so from the start of the season. I just think something there. It's a Goodison as well, isn't it, tomorrow? So I don't know. I think Everton could win that match. Right, so I'm going to go here. As I say, James Williams sent me through all this here. We'll go give a shout out who his team is. He sent me it there last night. So here we go. Let's see who James wanted to go for. So he was going to go for Barkas and nets. Then 3 at the back of Christopher Julian, Shane Duffy, and Christopher Ayer. And then basically Scott Brown in the back, sort of defensive midfield. Moy El Nusi on the left hand side. What's he wants to go for, like Colmac up beside him, Nicham beside Colmac, and then Frimpong, who probably has to be the next name in the team sheet after Scott Brown. And then so James Williams is going for Lee Griffiths and Albion Ajeti up front. So he is. So there you go. That's Moy El Nusi on the left hand side. So he doesn't want to start Taylor or Laxet. There you go. That's a big call, that one. But that's, everybody has their opinions, you know. So again, James, thanks very much, mate, for all the stuff you sent me last night. It's very, very much appreciated. All the stats there that you sent me. Right, so what we're going to do next here. Loads of people tuning in here, folks. Thanks so much. So share the page for me. Right, so Marty Heaney is watching me. Marty, how you doing? Suzanne Nixon. Griffin Edward up front. I don't think, Marty, he's going to start with Eddie. I just don't think he is. I think he's only back in the... I think what you're going to be looking at is Griff and Eddie coming off the bench. Personally, I think he's going to go up front with a Jetty and Elyounoussi. So I do. That's what my inkling is anyway. Right, so we're going to do the next tune of the day here for you. Or the evening, should I say. It's just kick off 8 o'clock, so folks, start sharing the page for me. Share the feed, all... because I want to build up the numbers on YouTube. So this is the Rebel podcast, and of course this is our big Glasgow Derby preview show. And then so in about 5 minutes time we're going to have a first of our contributors on the show. It's a very, very good long-term friend of mine, Tony Coleman, who next to Wee Duff is probably the most knowledgeable Celtic supporter here in West Belfast. So here's the next tune we're going to do for you, and this is from Shabin's album Live in the Cregan. And I have to say, Alan Quinn's voice in this song is absolutely shattered. It's just you can hear it. He started off this album with the Sam song, so he did the first song on it. So, if you want to go downhill to do a live album, that's definitely the wrong song to be starting with if you want to fuck your voice up. But here, anyway, so this is Willie Mealy from County Down in Newry. There, so he is with Shabin, Live in the Cregan.
This next song I'm going to do is a song I wrote many years ago. A good old-fashioned Celtic song that remembers the first manager, a man called Willie Mealy. It's nice to be singing along with Derry. Willie Mealy was his name. He got some great names to gain when he was the boss at Celtic Park. Taught him how to play football, made the greatest of them all. Gallagher and Brett had left their mark. Let's see that. And the game was James McIlroy and Paul McStay. He gave a Johnston Tully, not the golden hay. Most of the football ranks have passed up the Gallagher just to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. Oh, 38, there was a show. Glasgow was the place to go. A model of a town was football pride. England sent for all the best. It didn't meet with much success, cause the trophies ended up in paradise. And the game was James McIlroy and Paul McStay. Game of Johnston Tully, not the golden hay. Most of the football ranks have passed the Park Hills gates just to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. Oh, in October 57, we faced a guy called Jordan Levin. The game is etched on every Celtic fan. Wilson, Malkin and McPhail, Willie Fairley, he scored as well. A Celtic fought the Rangers 7-1. And the game was James McIlroy and James McStay. The game of Johnston Tully, not the golden hay. Most of the football ranks have passed up the Gallagher and to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. Hotel Museum had con and soul, and to Lisbon town we had to go and play the team that Italy adored. Celtic went on to attack. We won the big cup and they brought it back. Was the first time it had been on British shore. Oh, I see it. And the game was James McGrory and Paul McStay. The game of Johnston, Tully, London, Hay. Most of the football correct and past the Parkhead's gate just to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. In 1998, the Celtic Barons we celebrate. We're amongst the honours once again. The Hounds not did get 10 in a row, but Henrik Larsson stole the show. Celtic are the champions again. And the game was James McGrory and Paul McStay. The game of Johnston, Tully, but not Hay. Most of a football correct have passed the Parkhead's gate just to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. Hey, come on, let's see it. And the game was James McGrory and Paul McStay. Game of Johnston, Tully, but not Hay. Most of a football correct have passed up the Gallagate just to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way. Just to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way.
Yeah, so in appearance you've been there, folks, for you, and I said Alan Quinn's voice there. He struggled to get through that song, so he did, but fair play to you, Quinny. Legendary singer you are, legendary, basically just Republican and just generally good guy all round. So, folks, I can see loads more people here tuning in, and I say there's a good lot who aren't registered on YouTube or probably watching here as we speak. So, Jared Canavan, serious question. Have you ever seen Gerrard win the league? Have you ever seen Gerrard? No. What league? What's he won? He hasn't won nothing. So he hasn't. Probably thanks to Demba Belly from Chelsea that time. Plonker. Old Slippy G. Craigie's on. Well, Craigie, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Trick Shots, sir. Love that song. Happy days. Uncle K says, would love to see how Jetty and Griff work together. Mate, it's definitely an interesting one, so it is. I'd love to see more Griff and Eddie working together, to be honest, so would. Jared Canavan watching from Kent. Up a hoop, sir, Marty Heaney. Right, so we're going to get now, folks, Tony Coleman on the phone and say, so we're going through our teams who I've sort of picked, who I want to see starting tomorrow, and we'll just talk a bit about the game and stuff. So hopefully now we'll get Tony on the phone, and this was a bit of delay in this one the other night, so but hopefully this here works anyway. So it does. So this is Tony Coleman, legendary Celtic supporter from West Belfast, goes to every single game, as far as I know. So he does. And next to wee Duff, who has much more knowledgeable, I'll tell you that.
All right, Ro, how you doing?
Well, Tony, good to have you on, mate. Happy days. Good to see you on this evening, mate.
Good job. You're doing a great job there. I've been watching it here on the big TV.
Happy days. Right, hold on a second. I just want to get my team up here so I'll have this here lined up. So, listen, I'm sure now you would have been going to this here match. Obviously, so you would. So, see, obviously, it being on like a Saturday early morning, would you be one of the ones, would you your club head over for the weekend of these kind of games, or like a early boat Saturday morning or what?
Yeah, there's two options. You get the option to stay overnight, and you'll also get the day trip. We prefer the overnighter because you're you know what I mean, you're getting a good night's rest. Practically, with this being a 12:30 kickoff, it's you're up at 5 in the morning, you're on the boat at 7:30, you're rushing to get into Glasgow, rushing to get up to the stadium, and usually when I go over, 1 or 2 tickets to meet people with, and they're not at the correct places in the ground, and you're running about looking there and trying to get them sorted out. So I prefer to do the overnighter, and for the extra couple of quid, it's well worth it. You know, you can go out and have a great wee night in Glasgow. As you know, we own the city centre nowadays.
That's it.
And well, you can go and enjoy a great night out there and be up fresh and ready for the match the next day.
I have never been to, say, the old Firm or this new Glasgow derby. I've never experienced a match, especially at Parkhead. So just tell us a wee bit about this game.
Well, you want to go back to the Old Firm games right up until 2012, the most passionate derby in the world. I don't care what anybody says, although it's my team, but you have to experience this. As you know, this game has been in the domain now for 2 weeks, constantly talked about, everybody biting at the bit to get going here and get our team ready, and that's all we've talked about for 2 weeks, and that's happening tomorrow. And it's like that every game that Celtic have played Rangers in up until 2012 and the new Sitconian games. A lot of people have bought into the new Glasgow derby, which, of course it is. It's, it's the Zombie Nation team that we're playing tomorrow, but we'll treat it as a fire and brimstone derby.
So, say, what the sort of plan was for the season was obviously we're thinking that he's going to go like a 3-5-2 tomorrow anyway, so is, because I think he didn't have much choice, so he doesn't, to be honest, with sort of. So I'll let you know what sort of my team I've picked, right? And then obviously we can discuss yours. Tony, obviously you've had probably Declan's been involved in this as well, whatever. So obviously I went for Barkas and goals, right? Then 3 centre-backs, Duffy, Julian, Ayer. Left wing, I'd like to see him start Laxlet, but I think he's going to go with Taylor, to be honest. So I do.
Right.
I'd rather see the wee man starting, but I just think Lennon is sort of tried and tested to get this wee man on, then he'll maybe get him on in the second half. Then obviously right wing, Frimpong. Then centre mids are Brown, Kalmack, and then basically Incham front of him. And then I'm sort of going for Elyounoussi and Ayali up front. So what's your, and obviously the subs, I was sort of like, for an impact, I'm thinking sort of Griff, Rajic has to come on as well, I think at some stage, and whether Eddie is going to come in there or not, we don't know. And obviously Turnbull and Klamala, like.
Well, I think predicted lineup there, you're spot on with, because that is exactly what I've written down here. But the only thing, I didn't put Taylor in. I think he'll start with wee Laxat tomorrow.
Well, I've said to start him, but I'm just thinking Lennon might go with Taylor.
No, I think he will start him, because there was a bounce game against Motherwell, and both Griffiths and Diego started it, and the 2 good games Griffiths scored, and the wee lad seems to be up to speed in his fitness. So, and there was 3 games there that Scotland had played, and Taylor played every one of them. And Taylor's, in saying that, I wouldn't knock the kid, because the kid is playing games that he's not conceding goals in, and he's there as a left winger, but he's also a defender, and he's not conceding goals. So a lot of people are putting the boot in that wee lad, and they shouldn't be, because his first priority is not to leak goals. And he's not been doing it. He's been doing his job for Scotland. He's been doing it for Celtic as well. But we're Celtic, and it's just Glasgow Celtic way, and we need to attack. And down that left wing, we were absolutely spoilt with Tierney. And and that's why I think Taylor gets that much abuse, because we were split. We had a brilliant left winger, and we're getting used to having the left wing to produce goals, and it's not happening now. I think that's
the thing as well. He's big shoes to fill, him coming in. I mean, nobody thought get him in, and I mean, Tierney going was big shoes to fill. Like, definitely. I mean, just goes to show you what he's doing at Arsenal now. You know what I mean? Like, said that. Like.
But like I said, you only go back 2 years, and he was voted the best left back at the Russian World Cup in 2018.
Right. He must have been young enough then, like, as well, was he? Like?
Yeah. And I tell you, I think we've got a cracker in this lad, because you don't become a bad player. You know what I mean? When you get in the right setup and you feel comfortable in it, and you start to relax as a player, that's what Celtic's all about. When you come to Celtic, but the coaching system, Lennox Town, everything we have there, does make a better player. leaving and what you came. And I have no doubt that young man is going to be a pivotal player for us this season.
Right, okay.
I've no doubt about it. But that's who I'm going for. But up front, I think he will play Elanusi just off Ayeti as a full forward.
Yep.
So in the striking role, Ayeti will be there, and Elanusi just plays off that forward role, so flips from left to right. So
actually,
I reckon
there's a lot of people here, like nearly all the comments, so it's all saying Griff has to start, Griff has to start, Griff has to start. I mean, what do you think? Like,
I hear, see, with my heart, I'd start Griffiths tomorrow.
Yep.
And I think that's what everybody's doing. They're talking with their hearts, but you got to talk with your head here. And you know, Ayeti has been knocking the goals and he's been looking very confident. Took that wee bit of a hamstring tweak in the last game. He was taken off there, but you cannot start him considering he's there. He knows where to get them weak spaces, them wee tap-ins. But tomorrow's going to be a hard game, and there's no point in throwing Griffin at the deep end, and there's no point even playing Edward tomorrow, because he wasn't showing great form getting into this, and plus he's been isolating for this last near enough 2 weeks.
Yep.
Or 10 days, basically. So I think Edward, although put him on the bench, and if there's a scenario in the game that we're chasing it, certainly put him on, but I wouldn't risk him. I just hold him back. Listen, with Griff there, Griff would be the main man to pull off the bench. And you have Kamala as well. Kamala's playing great. Kamala's playing better.
Yep.
He's playing better than Edward. So I have no problem throwing Kamala in either. And he's looking good. He's looking very confident in his play. And he's got that cheeky wee smile about him as well. So I would have every confidence in him. But remember, Ro, see on paper, our bench looks absolutely superb, as our team does.
Yep, even this Turnbull guy, I mean, when he's come in, I mean, he's definitely one for the future, but he's a cracking player, so he is, like.
Yeah, and they're punching above their weight. Like, you only go back to the Hibs game. They drew 2-2 with Hibs, and really, Hibs run them full pelter. You know, Hibs looked on their level. Then Hibs came to us, and we absolutely blew Hibs away.
Yep,
definitely. And we Taylor on that day, and the Palestinian B player, Coleman, was at centre half. So, you know what I mean? There was a couple of wee tweaks getting into this game tomorrow, and I think the wee tweaks go in our favour.
So how do you think?
I'm quite confident about getting in tomorrow.
Shane Duffy's going to affect this game, man. Like, it's the perfect game for him, like.
It is a perfect game for him, but Ro, you've heard me talk about these internationals. They're an absolute waste of time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's very few fans that are interested. You know me. I've followed Ireland, the World Cups. I've followed Ireland, the European Championships. I've been all over Europe following Ireland. And see now, with the restrictions and all that, I have no interest in international football. I've no.
You're just praying that your players are going to come back fit, so you are.
Yeah,
and not
that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've seen the infections get in, even not being Ronaldo, probably one of the biggest players in the world. There's him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Knocked out. And now this is a massive game for us, and we've already lost Christie to the restrictions, and Christie didn't even test positive. He was just in a room with Stuart Armstrong.
Obviously, listen to Lenny's press conference today, and he's going to, obviously he's been annoyed because Tierney's looking to be able to play tomorrow for Arsenal, but Griff and the thing can't. So he can't so. Obviously, they're saying it's because it's the devolved government in Scotland. They can't make a decision. Or in England, or they can make a decision. I mean, it's just shit. Like, I mean, it's
crazy. All these rules and restrictions, even shutting bars here this evening. Listen, you're shutting bars and letting idiots run about supermarkets. Where does it stop, Ro? Really, where does it stop?
Right, well, listen, before you go on your rant there about these fucking multinationals, I know you have a show to do at 9 o'clock, your own disco on the scene. Going to let you go, mate. Okay, so mate, good luck for tomorrow, and we'll be fingers crossed we'll get a good result. So mate.
And to all our Celtic supporters, stay safe tomorrow, and remember, when we get the win tomorrow, all they look is confrontation and trouble. So whether you're in Belfast, Derry, or Glasgow, or Edinburgh, listen, keep safe and avoid it all. Just enjoy the result tomorrow. Hail, everybody. Hail, Rob.
Right, Tony, look, talk a little bit.
Keep all the good work.
Right. There you go, Tony Coleman, first of our guests this evening.
Yo ho ho ho, off we go. What do you know? It's 9 in a row. Bye bye Rangers. Celtics on the ball again, on their way to make it 10. Bye bye Rangers. You can bomb about your great defenders, sing and shout about your no surrender. Let us give you this sweet tip, we'll be there for the league and the cup. Rangers, bye bye. Yo ho ho, off we go. What do you know? It's 9 in a row. Bye bye Rangers. Celtics on the ball again, on their way to make it 10. Bye bye Rangers. You can bomb about your great defenders, sing and shout about your no surrender. Let us give you this sweet tip, we'll be there for the league and the cup. Rangers, bye bye. Bye bye Rangers. Bye bye Rangers. You can bomb about your great defenders, sing and shout about your no surrender. Let us give you this.
Yes, bye bye Rangers indeed. There we go, folks. Well into the show here, the first half an hour gone. So welcome along. This is the Rebel podcast with myself, Rory Carson, and this is our big Glasgow Derby preview show for tomorrow's match against the Emmons at 12:30 at Paradise, folks. So Keith Corrigan, who runs Come On the Hoop Celtic page, big supporter of the page here, folks, and myself. So I was trying to get Keith on tonight as a contributor, but he's a bit of a sore throat. He wasn't too well, so he said he didn't want to come on. So he submitted his team anyway. So this is what Keith Corrigan went for. He went for obviously Barkas and Nets, Duffy, Ayer, and Julian at the back, and then in the midfield, Frimpong, he wants to start with Laxat as well. Bruni, McGregor, and then Cham, and then Elyounoussi and Griffiths up front. He wants to go for. So there you go. He's saying about not starting a Jetty at all, or Kilmara. He wants to see Griff started off along with Moy Elyounoussi. Right, so Marty Heaney, see ya. Well, he's saying it, Wardy, hopefully anyway. So is that there? Chris Ward's going to be on very soon. He'll be the next guest, I think. We'll check here. Right, Stevie Boy 1916 says, well said, Griffiths could be used as an impact player if we need a wee boost in the second half. Kevin McCann said, where's Wardy? Be on soon. So Celtic Ultras said Olsen Edward is tired and isolated after fighting COVID and has not done any training in 2 weeks. He will not even be on the bench. That could be a good shout there, mate, so it could. Right, so Celtic Ultras says, hi, they're not Rangers anymore. They definitely aren't Rangers anymore. Steve Brown, hail from Doha, Qatar. There you go. Jared Canavan, serious question. There you go. Has Jared ever won the league? Definitely not, so he hasn't. Right, so we'll do another wee tune here, and then we'll see who our next guest is going to be on the show, and we'll basically discuss their thoughts. So here's the next one for you, and this is from Henrik is the striker for me.
When Henrik came over from Sweden, when Henrik he crossed the North Sea, when Henrik he signed for the Celtic, what a signing he turned out to be. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me, for me. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me. From Janssen said get me a striker, I'll only take one of the best. And Larsson we've sure got a winner, head and shoulders ahead of the rest. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik
Henrik's the striker for me, for me. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me. He flies through the air when he headers. He's classy when he's on the ball. His skill it bewilders defenders, but his hair it bewilders us all. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me, for me. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me. He said I'll tie knots in my barnet to make sure that I never go bald. I'll try to play great like wee Jinky and look good like wee Bertie Auld. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me, for me. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me. A fuzzbomb he is as a player. He strikes when the time is just right. His goal-scoring answers are prayers. Oh, what a glorious sight. Henrik, oh Henrik, oh Henrik's the striker for me, for me. Henrik, oh Henrik, Birchmurdy, Birdie, Schmurdy.
Yeah, you go. Though Henrik is the striker for me. Actually, not too sure who sings that one. I just found it on my hard drive. It just says Henrik is a striker for me. Artist unknown. Right. So up next, we're going to have Niall Drain on the phone from the Glasgow Celtic Champions page here in West Belfast. And we had Niall in the studio here along with Tony Coleman there a few weeks ago. I think it was the first of our Wednesday night shows. So it was right. Gerrymandering. It says hail from Ballyfermot in Dublin. Hail here from West Belfast, God's country there, gerrymandering. Wardy says, apparently Eddie has been training in France while he's been away. So Martin Heaney says, play Damien Quinn. I saw it in Bally on the telly because I think we're going to thrash the Huns 5-1 tomorrow. Actually, that might be arranged, so it might be, but see the version I have. That's the one with Brendan Rodgers in it. Marty, so I know Damien doesn't like that being played, so we'll see if I can get... the one off YouTube where he's took Brendan Rodgers out of the song altogether because Damien is not a fan at all, and he actually went all the credit and the money of changing that song, the Belly song, in the studio just to take Brendan Rodgers out of it and change it to Celtic instead. Right, so here we go. We're going to get Niall Drain on the phone next here for us, our next contributor on the show from the Glasgow Celtic Champions page here in West Belfast. Here we go. Hopefully Turf Lodge is a good signal.
Hello.
Well, Niall, what's the crack, man? How's that going on Turf Lodge this evening?
All good, mate, all good. All good. Preparing for tomorrow. Got the beer and all in, so everything's looking well.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
That's if I was just
I'm
in
not gonna lie,
if I didn't say I was anti-Brickliff tomorrow, I'd be lying. Like, I just think these boys, the last two games, in my opinion, the thrice lost, like, so they did. And
look, you'd be kidding yourself if you thought that this was going to be an easy game. You know, the past few years, Celtic have went on and scored 4s and 5s, and I can tell you now for a fact, it's not going to happen. Obviously, we would love it to happen, and it would be great. But I think the gap, if we're going to be honest, I think the gap has closed. I still think we're the better side. We play the better football. It may not look like that the past few weeks, but you have to bear in mind that we're playing against teams that are sitting 11 men behind the ball, and the Rangers are playing against teams that are coming out and attacking them. So it's looking as if they're a great side, but it's not what you're really, it's not the real picture. But I do think that Celtic, regardless of Christy Beaton, still think we have more than enough to win that game. be it fans, no fans, home, away. I don't care what anybody says. I think there's more than enough there.
Right, so talking about our teams then, so obviously I give a shout with Tony there. I went for Barkas and goal, back three at Duffy, Julian, IR. Left winger, I've went for Alexia at the start, but as I said to him, I think Lennon's going to go with Taylor, so I do, personally, to start the match with. Well, it's just an inkling I have, like.
I've done two things here.
Right, okay.
I've got what I would like to see.
Right, okay.
And I've got what I think Lennon will go for. Now, I heard yourself and Tony there saying Lennon might go for a 3. I don't think he's going to do that.
Seriously?
And here's why.
Right, okay.
Here's why. Yes. They've been playing 3 for quite some time, but here's why. So, if you remember back to last season, Celtic, 3 at the back, they were winning 3s, 4s, playing great.
Yep.
It came to the Rangers game just after Christmas. He went to a 4, changed the system. A bigger game, changed the system. Straight after that, Celtic played Kilmarnock.
Yep.
And they went back to a 3. After Kilmarnock, they then played Copenhagen. Big game again, back to 4. So I'm basing it on last year where the big games come up, and it seems to I don't know how else to word this, so I'm going to say it like this. It seems to me as if he lost his balls when it came to 3 at the back. So what I have is this, right? Now bear with me. I've got Barkas and goals. That's a given. That everybody's got to have Barkas. I've got Frimpong at right back. Now this is what I think Lennon will do. I might be wrong. All right. Ayer, Duffy, the 2 centre halves, and Taylor at left back.
So 4 at the back.
I think he's going to go for I do think he'll do a 4-2-3-1. And the 2 holding will have Brown and McGregor. And the three sort of attack and free run midfielders, I think, will be Elyounoussi and Cham. I don't know what way in terms of who's going to play middle, wide, whatnot, but this is what I think. Elyounoussi and Cham and Rabic. I think he'll give Rabic a start.
You think so?
I could be wrong.
Right, okay.
I do. I think this is the game for him, especially with Christie being out.
Yeah.
I don't see Turnbull being thrown in there. I don't see it happening. And I know he hasn't played a lot of football, but I'm basing it on what we have there. And that formation that I think he will play. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm basing it on what happened last year. And then I think Ayati will lead the line, regardless of whether Edwards passed fully fit or whatnot. I just think it's too quick of a turnover for him to start the game.
I don't think he'll even have Edward on the mar, to be honest. I just don't think. I think he's probably himself of enough striker options here. I don't want to risk him being having him on the bench.
He could sit on the bench, but whether he'll get a game is another story. I mean, what is there tomorrow? I have the bench down as Griffiths, Julian, Laxalt, Bain, Edward, Klamala, Sorrow, Turnbull, and Welsh, because I think there's 9 subs allowed if I'm right.
Yeah, you're right, 5 in.
Well, 9 on the bench, not 9 subs.
Yeah.
Now, that was a 4-2-3-1. I think he will go for that.
Right.
But what I would like to see would be Barkas and goals and a back 3 of Duffy, Ayer, Julian.
Yep. And
wing backs in Frimpong, Laxalt, and the 3 central players. I would like to see, obviously, like everybody, Scott Brown, Callum McGregor, and likewise, as I said on the previous one, Tom Rogic. I would love to see. I personally think he's thrived in these games, although he's not a 90-minute player. I think I don't think he can have passed him in these games, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a few here commenting going the same thing. Like, I think Rogic deserves a start, but can't see it. I just, because I think back when you were on here, the podcast up in the studio here with Tony, and you were sort of banging the drum, I think, for it in Cham. So you were like, and sort of sitting there to me think, well, like this game here now with Christie not being available, I just think this is a game for him to sort of prove himself.
It is tough. It depends, really. It depends what formation he's going to go for, because if he goes 3 at the back, the midfield, I think, really sort of speaks for itself. If he goes 3 at the back, the midfield, I think your 3 central boys would be McGregor, Brown, and Cham.
Yep.
That's, I think, if he does a 3-5-2, that's your 3 central midfielders sorted. And I just don't see him going for a 3-5-2. I don't see him having the battle to do it.
Well, I just think because the last time
it doesn't
he
make
played
sense.
them, it basically overrun us in midfield. I think the problem was, and that's why I think obviously from that game, that's when he went to the 5, and sort of seems to have worked since then. Like since that after Christmas, sort of come in and obviously just push forward and just run red. So they did like.
I was at the last game. I think it was just after Christmas.
Yeah. Are you in the bath? Are you?
It
Sounds like you're underwater talking there. So it does.
You're on the speaker. I might be underwater tomorrow, depending on what way the result goes like. But no, I don't know. I'm not overly confident, but I am silently. But I don't want to openly talk and build my hopes up to get them shot down. It's too tight of a game to call, I think, and even the bookies, it shows in the odds and all.
Do you think that having obviously I've seen that idiot Ryan Kent said having no stadium, I mean obviously having no fans being on there, do you think it's going to make a difference?
Football without the stadium is nothing. Eh?
Oh, you'd be playing the field at the back.
See, I'm seeing a lot of things saying obviously that no fans will play into their hands, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I know obviously Celtic fans have always been touted as the 12th man and all that sort of stuff, but I think to some sort of degree it'll take a bit of pressure off Celtic, because
yeah, could be right there.
If they don't start on the front foot,
the fans are on their back.
Can become very, very quickly, and I do think it takes a bit of pressure off. It could be wrong. We'll obviously find out, but at the same time, like it's going to be very, very strange. With no crowd noise, no nothing. You might get a bit of Sky Sports sort of default, general crowd noise. But
yeah.
It's in some ways it's kind of ruined for me, but at the same time, I'm still going to enjoy it, obviously. But
so what's your plans for tomorrow then, for the match?
I'm just watching it in the house. I haven't got a few cases of beer and stuff, so just literally watching the house. There's nothing you can do. Do you know what I mean?
I know it's bollocks, certainly. Fuck's sake. That's
Make do with a bad situation. Hopefully they'll make it better.
Hopefully. Well, mate, listen here. We've an hour. Somebody else come on here before 9 o'clock, so we'll let you shoot on, mate. Okay, so Niall, thanks very much, mate, for coming on. Appreciate your feedback there.
No worries, mate.
So, cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Right, so folks, here we go. Up was Niall Drain there from the Glasgow Celtic Champions page here in West Belfast. It's like God's country. Here's the next tune for you. This is from Glasnevin's new album. And here we go. This is Paling on the Agony. And I think Kieran Davenport's singing this one. Here we go.
A Yankee came to Hampden Park, a football match to see. Attracted by the magic, the open rival view. Well, little did he know what a treat he had in store. While watching Glasgow Celtic got into the score. Paling on the agony and putting on the style. And all the while, you'll never see such football. You'll travel for a million mile. As you're watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style. As it began, why have they not started? Oh, when they're shooting them, the game is well in progress. So I answered with a smile. You're watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style. Paling on the agony, putting on the style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, scoring all the while. You'll never see such football. You'll travel for a million mile. As you're watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style. Well, Hampden Park was crowded and the fans began to roar. And the Rangers fans were singing of the rags their fathers wore. Well, very soon they changed the tune. History was set when Willie He tried with all their might. That Monday son of Adam, with all of football's kind. It's Charles Patrick Tully, putting on the style. Bailing on the agony and putting on the style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, scoring all the while. You'll never see such football. You come for minutes of mine. As watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style. Now the famous Celt supporters all want to go to heaven to remember that League Cup win of 1957. That day is well remembered, record so nobly won, when Celtic met the Rangers and we beat them 7-1. Waiting on the agony, putting on the style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a while. You'll never see such football. You're coming for miles a mile. As watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style. As watching Glasgow Celtic putting on the style.
Yeah, there you go. That's in the Glasnevin with Kieran Davenport and lead vocals there for you, with Piling on the Agony. And folks, if you want to support Glasnevin, they're doing a live stream tomorrow before the match starts with their first Glasnevin album. And then once the match is finished, we're going to go live and sing that whole album there as well. So I think they're looking basically a $5 for a ticket for their live sort of private stream, folks. So obviously Connor and Kieran have done a lot of work to have through this whole first lockdown, gigs for free, for getting busy fundraising for all sorts of different groups. So if you could pay by PayPal on their Big Cartel account, and you can buy yourself a ticket for their gig tomorrow before and after the match. So there you go. Right, there you go. Craigie Norwell. Craigie, great tune. Well, there's Krista Coyle on. Christina, how you doing? Are you finished your set and all of you? Hello, friend. You're not going to... See, after I speak to your man here, you're not going to... You'll be unfriending me straight away, see, well. I'm only joking. There you go. Right, so... Christina. Right, so... Kevin McCune, yeah, brilliant tune there from Glasnevin. There you go for you. Actually... You can't go to the Rock to watch the match, for God's sake. Paul Dunlop. All right, very well, Paul. How you doing, mate? What's the crack? Marty Heaney says, I hope Griff is going to get a start tomorrow. Right, so here we're going to go to next. We're going to go our next contributor. We'll have 3 on the first half and 3 on the second half. So this time we have a guy who I've sort of become friends on Facebook over the last year or so. So his name's Anthony Whitlow, and he's one of the 4 guys who run the 4 Tims and a podcast page. Absolutely fantastic podcast, so it is, over in Glasgow there. And I think they put their latest one up there last night. Was it iTunes or on Spotify? So here we go. We're going to listen now to Anthony Whitlow from what he thinks will happen in the match tomorrow. So here we go. Facebook Live calls. Come on.
Hello.
Well, mate, how you doing? What's the crack?
No, not bad. I've been enjoying the show. I've been listening in. It's been really good so far.
Happy days, man. Good to hear it. You having a few beers, Nate? Are you?
I've not actually had anything. No, yet. I'm waiting on Chris to arrive, and then we'll maybe have a drink after that. But just now, I'm stone cold sober. I
see. She's just giving me a bit of abuse here already. So she's on the live feed. So she is. So before we get into the Celtic stuff about the match tomorrow, so I want to hear first about this, basically the scoop on this newest celebrity Z celebrity couple here in Glasgow. Yourself and Krista Coyle. When was this announced then? What's the crack, mate?
It's just for business purposes. She helps the podcast, and then she gives me money. I come on here and let everybody know that she's got a new album out called "The Streets of Free Derry," which can be purchased just now. So it's just purely business based.
Plug. There you go, mate. Here, Abby Tez. Great to hear for Christina. It's a lovely wee girl, so she is, and hopefully you calm her down a wee bit, because she's a bit. I thought when she moved over to Glasgow by another balloon of a friend of hers, it made her calm her down, but she only got a bit more matter. So she did, from what I've seen of her Snapchat videos. So anyway, mate, so tell us all about the first things first, 4 Tims in a podcast. When did it start, and sort of what was the whole idea behind it?
It's basically, it started last July. The four of us had been friends for a while, and two of the guys on the podcast, Dan and Danny, had done a podcast about football. Anybody that knows me will tell you that.
Yep.
So we kind of hummed it.
Grab it.
And we actually get Eric Sviatchenko on the podcast. So he was our first guest, and that was a massive boost for us.
Yep.
And then for there, it's just kind of taken off. We've had Lubo Moravcik on, which was unbelievable.
Fantastic, mate.
We even done a live show with Tom Boyd in Kelly's Bar in Glasgow. We've had, who else have we had on? I'm trying to think. I should know Craig Burley, who was actually quite a nice guy.
I just get a whole lot of these guests. Like, they're pretty big names, like, so they are.
Tom Boyd, Tosh McKinley, we had him on, Morton Wycourse. We interviewed Tony Hamilton, who's the chief executive of the Celtic Foundation inside Celtic Park.
Brilliant.
We've had a few actors on as well. Ross McCall, who's played in some of the charity games alongside Gianni Capaldi, Tony Curran. We had him on as well. So we've had quite a lot of kind of different ex-guests. No doubt I've missed them out, but the podcast's free on Spotify, iTunes, Podomatic. I think it's even on Amazon as well. So for anybody that is Celtic minded, it's just like four guys down the pub talking. What I say in the pub and what I say on the podcast is just the exact same thing. So obviously I can't say anything in the pub now because they're fucking shut. But
exactly. So see the other three guys, have you been friends in a good while and just sort of come together? I mean, did you sort of befriend each other through doing this here? Or?
Yeah, we knew each other and we were friendly before this, and we just kind of chatted for long enough, and then it was coming into the 9 in a row season. I thought, what a better time to come up with a podcast. So we've had some great times doing the show, the live show with Tom Boyd. We sat and interviewed him in front of a sold-out crowd in the pub, and then had Shabeen on after.
Fantastic.
I mean, that was just an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for COVID, we actually had live shows lined up with Danny McGrain and Alan Thompson as well. But they unfortunately had to be pulled due to the pandemic. But hopefully next year we'll look to get those back in the road, and even possibly come to Ireland with ex-players to do shows as well.
Yeah, so listen, let's have a bit of yarn about the match tomorrow. And so would you normally been going to the game then? Are you a season ticket holder yourself? Are you?
Yeah.
Right, so where do you sit, like the Green Brigade, or where's your sort of seat at?
No, I sit with my dad. We're in the North Stand Upper. It's a great seat. We've sat there for maybe the last 8-9 years. We actually got the season ticket after Rangers disappeared, funnily enough. So it's been great, but some great memories. Just there's nothing beats going to the football. Your dad, in my opinion. Right,
so obviously I don't know if you've been listening to that. So the team I went for, I think like most of the people here in the comments have all been going for the same players, or maybe bar like the left wing or the forward. So obviously Bacchus and Nets, 3 at the back of Duffy, Julian, Ayer, and then obviously I'm thinking that Lexlet will start. Well, I hope he starts, but I think Lennon's going to go with Taylor. What do you think about there? Do you think he's going to start with Lexlet, or?
I don't want to harp on him with Greg Taylor. I think Greg Taylor's a good defender, but I think he upsets the balance of the team because he can't beat a man, and there's a complete contrast with Frimpong.
Exactly.
Who can beat a man all day long.
There's no balance there,
where Taylor can't. So personally, I would put Laxalt in. I heard one of your guys on earlier on talking about how he was in the World Cup Team of the Year. I mean, you don't get signed by AC Milan if you're completely garbage. I think the guy is a good signing.
Yeah.
And another thing I seen somebody put on Facebook was quite a good point. Normally it would be a bit iffy putting him into a derby game, but there's no fans, there's no added
pressure.
There's nothing like that. It's not going to be 60,000 willing you to break the first Huns leg you see, kind of thing. So I would put him in. I think he's probably a better player than Greg Taylor, and he probably fits that 3-5-2 system a bit better. So I would definitely have him in.
But the thing is, as you said there about the left wing, there's definitely no balance of, like, obviously Frimpong's going to bomb up and down at wing all day long, like, but just obviously with a. He's not bad at defending, but it's getting forward and getting the crosses and stuff, and that's where we're definitely losing out on the left hand side there. So he is like. So then I went for obviously Frimpong on the right, which I think he's probably like the first name in the team sheet after Brown. Like then Brown, Colmack in the middle, then Incham in front of him, which is like a few people are saying basically about starting Elyounoussi there, and then going with Griff and a Yali up front. Where I'm sort of thinking, I think he's going to go for Elyounoussi and a Yali up front. So do.
Well, I said my team. I went for Barkas, Julian Duffy Ayer, Frimpong, Brown, McGregor, Laxalt, Elyounoussi behind Edward and Ageti. I know Edward's a kind of contentious one now. Nobody really seems to know whether he's going to start or not. I think if he is fit enough, I would start him, and I would refer back to the. Right. Yeah, if he's fit enough, 100%. I mean, if you look back at the cup final a year ago, when we started Eddie on the bench, it gave the Huns such a lift. And they dominated that game. And then when he came on, don't get me wrong, they were all over the place. Needlessly fouled him, and then we scored for it. But I think if Edward's fit enough, even if it's for 60 minutes, then I would have him on, and then you get so many good options in the bench now, even with players out. But I would go for Edward and Ageti. I think Ageti's probably been our player of the season so far. If you look at his play and the goals he's got for such limited game time, he's been an outstanding signing. And it's not like us to sign a striker and just throw him in right away. Usually it takes a bit of time, but he's hit the ground running, so it could be a big day for him.
So what about Griffin? You think he definitely will get on at some stage in tomorrow, or?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when Lennon brought Griffiths and Rogic on with 15 minutes to go against St Johnstone, he gave himself a bigger headache because both of them played very well, I thought, and obviously Griffiths get the winner. So I'd like to see Griffiths come on at some stage if he doesn't start. I mean, I think I probably speak for all of the Celtic supporters. Nobody would love to see score into them more than him. The abuse he got during these kind of mental health struggles. So I would love nothing more than Griffiths to score. But at the minute, I just wouldn't start him. He has only really played 15 minutes. And I think one guy who I feel terribly sorry for, because he kind of gets left out, is Klimala.
Definitely.
I think Klimala's been excellent as well. And I was talking, I said in the podcast the other day, there was a lot of talk about how he just bounced up that tackle at St Johnstone. But the finish is absolutely sublime. It's a great finish in that game. So I think with his pace, he can definitely get the Huns back line as well. Another thing I would say is one of the positives of having players out and all this speculation. Gerrard's not got a clue how we're going to set up because nobody knows. So he can't really prepare. He can't really properly prepare because he doesn't. We don't know. So I don't even know if Lennon don't know, but now I'm hoping he does. But I think that might be an issue for them.
Right, so what do you think? I see a few people as well. Where obviously Niall was on last year, and he was pushing for Rogic to come on to start the match. Like, so he was. I mean, what do you think, Erlich?
I've been shouting for ages for Rogic to get back the team, but I think that this is a game too soon to start him. There's a chance. I think they're going to press us really high, and I think the game could just pass Rogic by if it's too intense and too fast paced. Don't get me wrong, over the last few years you could argue him, Sinclair and Edward, or Dembele when he was here, they were the players that tortured the Huns. I mean, Rogic has had goals against them in Hampden, Ibrox, Celtic Park, so but I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't mind him coming on at some stage. I wouldn't have an issue with that at all, but I just wouldn't start him for this game. I think it's just a game too soon. So
tell me this, are you a bit more nervous now when you've been in before the last two, like sort of, let's say, Glasgow derbies? Like, because I think obviously we have a bit of a different team now. Before, when you look at even at our cup final, we had the Great Wall and that's like, and like they battered us that day, like only for him. That's what basically won the cup final for us, like. And what's your sort of thoughts on this Barkas guy? Like, I mean, a lot of people saying he hasn't done nothing wrong, but I mean, he hasn't been really tested. So what have you sort of think of what you've seen of him?
I think he's fine. I think I don't see an issue with Barkas. I've seen Chris Commons come out in the paper and I go at him, and obviously Chris Commons has just turned into a complete arsehole as far as I'm concerned. What's that all about?
Like, I had so much respect for him. Like, and like, what are you doing? What? Where's all this coming from?
It's incredible. I mean, you look at a guy like Scott Sinclair, who was in the media last week and this week, and he could have been any nicer at his time at Celtic. And then you've got Commons just picking fights with any Celtic player. It's one of the only good things Brendan Rodgers done out with the football, where he didn't actually give Commons a send-off game because he doesn't fucking deserve one. But I don't want to get a rant into Chris Commons. But I think Barkas has been fine. I think the Ferencváros game, you can't pin that on him completely. El Hamid was out of sorts for that. We just didn't really turn up. I think he's been fine. I think he's a lot more efficient than Foster. He comes for crosses. He's probably not be as good a shot stopper, but he gets the ball moving quickly. He's made a few good saves. No, I like Barkas. I'm quite happy with him.
Right, so Anthony, we're going to issue it on here because obviously we have another 3 guests to come on in the next hour. So what's your plans for the match tomorrow? Obviously, you can't go watch it in a pub. You can't probably go to your friend's house and watch it. So are you just sitting with your dad then and watching the game, or?
I'll just sit there and watch it. I'll be hoping for the best. I'm going to go for 2-0 Celtic. I think Frimpong will score, and I think Ayeti will score, and then I think the Huns will implode. So that's my prediction.
I just see somebody's put here in the comments. See Celtic Ultras row, get your cash on Kent for a first red card when he tries to wipe out Frimpong with the first tackle. Fuck's sake. I think like, with this referee we'll have tomorrow, I can't see that happening. Like, to be honest.
John Beaton, well, it's not the ideal ref, but I think that's where the game will be won and lost, the wide areas. I definitely think that.
Right, mate, so listen, good luck tomorrow. Well, fingers crossed, and hopefully whenever we're in Glasgow we'll make it to actually meet you someday, so maybe we'll get a pint together. So
yeah, absolutely, it sounds great.
And,
what's your podcast? All the best. I'll listen on to the end of the show. I've really enjoyed it, and hail on myself.
Same to yourself, mate. Good luck. Alright, happy days. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
So that was Anthony Whitlow there, folks, from the Four Tims and a podcast. Great to have him on. Happy days, and good luck to yourself, mate, with taking on Krista Coyle as your companion in the bed sheets. Should I say? Sorry, Krista or Christina. Should I say? But fair play to the two yous. Great to see us getting together. Two lovely people. Right. So next tune here for you. Here we go. Lurgan Man, Celtic legend, and I don't know who sings this song as well. This is unknown artist Neil Lennon. Whoever it is, here goes for our boss, our leader, our just legendary past captain. Here we go. This is Neil Lennon.
Born in Lurgan Town, his dad jumped up and down. He said, "Me boy, one day you'll play for Celtic." Unlike me and you, this dream it did come true. Neil Lennon's day has come at Glasgow Celtic. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon wants to play for Celtic. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, you're the boy want to play for Celtic. From Lurgan on to Crewe, his talent shone right through. Then Martin took him off with him to Leicester. He's played against the best and surely stood the test. His solid midfield role he has perfected. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon wants to play for Celtic. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, you're the boy want to play for Celtic. Martin came to bring us joy and fame, a manager that we all idolize. The dream it became real when Martin said for Neil to come and join the Celtic boys in paradise. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon wants to play for Celtic. Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, you're the boy want to play for Celtic. Celtic, Neil Lennon, Neil Lennon, you're the boy born to play for Celtic.
There you go. There's Neil Lennon, and I don't know who it was sung. I just say it's on my hard drive as well. That he's Celtic songs, but you've got to explain to the man himself, folks. So many doubters there of Lenny at the start, and look what he's done. There should be a statue of him. Once we get this 10 in a row, there should be a statue of him, I'd say, with Billy McNeil and Brother Walford. So, folks, again, keep sure. This is our big build-up preview show to tomorrow's Glasgow derby against the Zombies. Then we'll call them Rangers. Rangers died in 2012, and they're masquerading as a club who think they have won 54 league titles when they have not. They have won absolutely nothing. Maybe the Betfred Fisherman's Cup or whatever the hell it is, but definitely not. Right, so here we go. Marty Heaney says, I hope Lennon pulls a surprise and starts Rogic and Griff. Could be 2 goals at least. They love the goals against Emmons. I just can't see it, but then again, it's his Lennon. He always pulls something out of the bag. Marty, you never know. Finlay won. Arches, big shout out to Christy Mullen, a true Irish man that drinks on tears. Right, Janice Henry, how you doing? Hail Row from Tenerife, and a huge shout out to Nana Agnes Henry in East Kilbride. She got it on the big lay before us tonight. Happy days. She'll be loving the tunes and raging they won't be at the game. Unlucky, right? So Michael Bolton is looking what time the match starts tomorrow. So 12:30 on Sky Sports there, folks. So it is. Right, yeah. So Celtic also, Ultras is saying, get your cash on Ryan Kent for a red card. Basically, probably the first tackle. He's going to try and take out Frimpong. But say, this buddy referee, John Beaton-Amara, he's a Hun. So he is. Drinks in Hun bars. There's no way he's going to give us nothing unless it's literally on a plate. And he has to give us it. But then again, that's not guaranteed. So up next we'll have Chris Ward, our next guest on the phone, folks. Another 3 boyos come on here for the last hour for you tonight. So here's the next tune for you. I think this is Gary Oak this time. We just can't get enough. The brilliant Depeche Mode tune. A wee bit of the Celtic fans at the start. So Gary Oak, just can't get enough.
When I see a Celtic, I go out off my head. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. All the things you make do, all the things you say. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Slip and slide and we fall in love, and I just can't seem to get enough. No, when I see a Celtic, I go out off my head, and I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. All the things you make me do, all the things you say, I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Slip and slide and we fall in love, and I just can't seem to get enough. No, I just can't seem to get enough of Celtic.
There we go. There is the brilliant. And I thought it was Gary Oak, but it actually isn't. So my bad, folks. There you go. somebody's, I don't know who it is, but just when I listened to it on, it sounded like Gary Oak, but it's obviously been told that it definitely isn't, so it isn't, so there you go. So we're going to have Chris Ward, folks, here next for you on the phone. So Chris, obviously, Wardy, people are saying here, from the Erngo Bra Salt Lake Supporters Club, so he is. So let's see, a few more wee shout-outs to have before we go on the next caller. So Stevie Boy, 1916, Ulkirk Busta Bondorn, catches next year, boys and girls. There you go, Stevie, thanks for tuning in. Marty Heaney, all the Shamrocks. Kevin McCann says, give us Wardy, right? He's on next. So North Badger, hail from New Zealand. Salt Lake Supporters Club, Duffy, double. Griff Brace, 4-0, Hun Apocalypse coming. Listen, nobody said it yet, but I honestly think that Big Duffy is a cert for a goal tomorrow. So he is. Definitely is. Finley, one arch. Big shout out to Chrissy Mullen. There we go. Shout out now. True Irishman. Drinks Hunt here. So here we go. Right next call up, we're going to have another West Belfastian like myself here. Up next to where is he? Right, we're going to have Chris Ward on the phone from the Erngo Bra Salt Lake Supporters Club. Here we go.
Rory, how are you, buddy?
Well, Chris, what's the crack? Sounding good, mate, there?
No worries, mate. Hope's all the show's going really well.
Yeah,
mate, so
plenty of live ones here.
Everyone's enjoying it.
That's it, man. Happy days. So, listen, tell me this: would I take it as you'd have been at this match tomorrow? So you would have been. Would you have been going? Obviously, talking about Tony earlier on, or would you have been going for the early morning boat then, or?
No, Rory, we would have went for the day trip, mate. Erngo Bra was established years next year.
Seriously?
All
Right.
being well, 2021. So 15 people. It's like Ato Digney and Brian Booth, Owen McGlone, Mickey McGurk, etc. The lads, it's all the hard work the lads do voluntarily. It makes to get our members and punters over as cheaply as we possibly. We were bringing 4 buses to every match.
Serious?
The last game was against easy, mate. We'd be the biggest. I mean, in my opinion, we're the biggest club in Ireland. You know, I'm sure all our members would agree. I could go further, I suppose, and I'd suggest we're the biggest in the world. I would like to be proved wrong in that respect. As I say, we'll go with 3-4 buses a match, mate, and that's only the normal league match. Against St Mirren, we won 5-0 just prior to COVID. I had my dad, my 2 kids over. It was a great game. We were playing some wonderful football in the build up to that, you know, and in my view, we were on our way cruising to 9 before the pandemic came in, and really, I think, in my opinion, Ro, the pandemic was a bigger sort of. And listen, we know it's serious, and there's people dying, and your thoughts are with all of that. From a football point of view, I mean, Celtic were the biggest victims in all of this because, you know, quite honestly, in my opinion, we were cruising. We beat St Mirren 5-0. We had an away win to Aberdeen previous to that. I think we beat St Johnson 4-0. We were cruising. Lenny had the lads playing some fantastic football. At the other side of the city, Rangers were struggling. They'd lost at home to Hamilton. They'd lost at home, I think it was the St Johnson or Ross County. They drew away to one of those teams as well, 2 each. I mean, they were falling apart. We were in an ascendancy. And I really believe that, I know there's a lot of talk about Lenny, there's a lot of talk about, you know, about there's no fans and what the atmosphere is going to be like. For us, in my view, this whole COVID has been a bigger sort of problem for Celtic because we would have went on to do the quadruple travel.
Yeah, oh,
undoubtedly.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. There would have been parties in the streets. You know, the Sevco lads would have been totally distraught. I think Gerard would have been sacked. They would have been in total demise. But COVID saved them. Mate, and we didn't have the opportunity to do the quadruple travel, which we would have done. And then we would have been getting into a season with a feel-good factor. We would have been getting into the season with great confidence. Lenny would have been hailed a hero and always getting a bit of stick, and that everyone's entitled their opinion. But, you know, all that was taken away from Celtic. We still will do the quadruple travel when we win the Scottish Cup in December. But I think just that there has been a flat start to the season, and I honestly believe that's because the opportunity for us to continue the season that we had was taken away from us.
Right. So listen, what's your plans for the match tomorrow then? You just sitting in the house then to watch it, or?
I'll sit in the house, mate. I to be honest with you, you know, myself and the lads we go to most of the home games, and if I'm not over at the game, Ro, I would just sit in the house, mate. I wouldn't go out into the bars or anything to watch it, even if there was pubs open tomorrow, mate.
Aye.
I couldn't. And a good friend of mine, Aidzo Digney, if every boozer in the world was open and we weren't even through COVID, and Aidzo was at the match, Aidzo wouldn't even watch the match. What Aidzo does is he spends his time out the forecourt drinking tea and coffee, breaking himself. He doesn't even watch the game. He's that heavy strong about it.
That's so crazy.
You can sense the nerves.
So are you nervous yourself, like, for tomorrow?
I am. I always am. I'm confident, by the way, like, you know, so, but I'm always cautious. You're playing Rangers, and you know, I always be wary of that. I'm confident. I think we'll win the match, but I wouldn't be coming on saying we're going to win 5-0, 4-0. I think you have to give respect. As much as I love Celtic, I think we'll have to look at Rangers and sort of say they have improved. I think the way in their formation at the minute, Rory, I think they're playing this 4-3-3. I think it's working for them.
Yep,
you know, you're going to have they'll have the choice of like Scott Arfield, Ryan Kent, Morelos, Hadji up in that forward three. One of those, three of those four will be up there. You know, Steve Davis is a shrewd operator. I know this is all about Celtic, but we have to look at our opposition here too, and we have to be real about it. And I think that's when we'll talk about the formation of the team. They got to look at how they're going to line up as well, and what Lanny's thinking about in regards to theirs. They've conceded very little, Rory, this year, mate. They've conceded very little. Goldson at the back has been very strong for them. So I'm a Celtic fanatic, but I also you always look at the enemy.
Of course,
you always keep an eye on what they're at, and they're playing well. Now, they're nowhere near as good as us. The strength of the squad that we have is going to see us through. As I said just earlier about the COVID thing, to me, Celtic over the last number of years, and under Brendan Rodgers as well, they're like a second half season team. After Christmas, we really start to find our form, and it's the strength and the depth of the squad that we have that makes us so strong. I mean, even take Christie out, take Forrest out. Franchietti's he's just out of isolation. We've other problems there with Elhamid and Beaton in regards to COVID, but we're still a seriously strong team, and there's no reason why we can't win. Well, listen, I've been listening to your team, and it's quite similar, mate. But I mean, I have a team, and then I think of a team that Lanny's going to play.
Yeah, well, that's what most people are sort of doing. They're going, I'd love to see this, but this is what I think he's going to do. You know.
But what I would say is, look, I mean, Rangers do have they'll play three up front. So people I heard Nell Jane earlier, and he made the point about a back four, and it's very, very hard to argue against Nell's his prediction. But I actually think Lanny will go with a back three, because quite honestly, you know, if we go with a back four, to me, we're showing that team too much respect.
Definitely. Yep.
We're at home. Yep. We're the home team.
Yep.
If you're at Ibrox, you play a back five if you want to take a point. You know, and even a point tomorrow is not a disaster, but I still think we should push on to try and win the match. So I think the back three, I think, will be Duffy, Julian and I, or as everybody said. I think Barkas and Nats is a cert. If it was me, personally, I would start Frimpong on the right, because he's going to cause a lot of problems. He's going to maybe, you know, get a few of them boys up, get bookings and stuff for them lads. And I would go, and I know what you're saying with Taylor, and I was thinking about this today. I just think that he will put Laxat in, simply because
hopefully he does. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if, and you said right across the show tonight, you think he might go with Proven. And I think Taylor's got a bit of stick for it. I don't know what your opinion is of him, but he's got a bit of stick, but he's not the worst.
I think I agree with Tony Coleman said on there. But look at the sort of clean sheets we've had. I mean, he's great at going back, but it's just there's no balance there. Basically, when you see Frimpong bombing up the wing and he's getting great crosses in, you're just not getting that on the left hand side here, you know. And that's what we need.
That's it, and Taylor's a left back, you know. So if you're playing, if you're you know, going this 3-5-2, then you're expecting a lot of a man that's not probably used to playing in that sort of role. And that's why I'm thinking Laxat may get in there. If it was me personally, I wouldn't play ever in a million years, never, ever play Brown and Encham in the same team. It doesn't work, in my opinion. This is only my opinion, but I'm standing having the battle of heart talking to you about Celtic, so we're not the monitor, do you know what I mean? But I would play Brown McGregor, and this will all depend on who is fit up front, right? Yeah. So I would play Brown McGregor in the middle, and I would have El Lucy in front of them. And if Griff has his head on his shoulders and Griff is fit, I would have him and Ayati up front. And that's simply because we're at home. Now, what I think he will do is he won't do what I say because of the slam stand drink of my heart. He'll go Brown, McGregor and a Cham.
Yep.
And he'll then play Elanusi off Ayati, in my opinion. That's what if Ayati's fit. I haven't had the opportunity today to go on the latest injury update. You can inform me if there's any change. I don't know if Ayati's fit.
No, yeah, he's come out today and he says, I listened to the press conference, he said, Ayati, yep, he's ready to start tomorrow. He's fully. So that's come from Lennon.
He has to start, and I think, and this is what is going on about the strength of the team. I mean, you'll have the likes of, and I heard the previous lad on, and also now Adrian talk about Rogic. Rogic is a man for against Sevco. He is the man to play, but I wouldn't start him. I would have him coming on. The likes of Eddie, if Eddie was fit and Eddie was available, although he hasn't played overly well in the past number of weeks against Rangers, he's safe to do it like Rogic. You'd have Franchetti on all the time, so you've got him, you've got Franchetti, you've got Turnbull potentially, Rogic to come in, you've got Ncham still there if things aren't. And I think if Rangers are playing the high sort of 4-3-3, so the likes of Frimpong and Laxat, they make it pinned in a bit, but it's just about us getting control of the ball and we start playing a bit of football, controlling the game, and the 3-5-2 should work well, you know.
So what's your thoughts on a wee Paddy Kilmalla then, like, from what you've sort of seen on this season?
I think yes, and he's one of the ones down on my wee subs list here. Kamala to me is going to become a sensation. And if you think back whenever Franchetti came on loan from PSG, and I was in the stands watching myself and the lads go to all the games, all the home matches, and a good lot of away games as well. We were sort of going, who's this big lad Edward? And he was only 18, 19, and he took a bit of convincing. Yep. And over the past couple of seasons, we've seen his worth. I think Kamala can. I'm not saying he's going to be another Franchetti, but what I am saying is there's been a lot of improvement from the lad over the course and he's only here from January. And at the start, people were looking, but the goal that he scored late on against St Johnstone there the other week when he was cleanly taken out, a red card offence, he bounced back up like rubber and finished the ball beautifully. The referee didn't even play advantage until the ball was in the back of the net, such as the refereeing standards we're getting these days. But I think he'll come good. Would I start him tomorrow? No, personally, no. I think the game will be too much for him tomorrow to start. I think the pressure may be too much, but certainly as an impact, I think he could come on and could make a difference if we need it. So
do you reckon, have you a sort of score protection in mind,
I don't think Rangers concede loads. I do think the back three, it worries me slightly, but as I say, the two wing backs are going to have to be pinned into the defensive bit to just get us a bit of shape nicely. I would go 2-0 to us. I think we will manage that. I do be nervous about the back three is a new thing over the course of it when Duffy's came along especially. But I think the lads they'll be well drilled. And I know people are saying about no fans and all this, but it's Celtic and Sevco, and listen, this is a new club and they haven't won anything and all of that. And yes, as Celtic fans, we can say that till the cows come home. But this is, for all intents and purposes, Celtic against Rangers. My blood goes, my nerves go. So it's not as if they're just this brand new club as it appeared. On the history sheets, they absolutely are. But then historical sheets to us, the Celtic fans, it's Rangers, and what we have to do is beat them. And there's a lot at stake. And I honestly believe there's a lot of pressure here. People are freaking out. I'm nervous about the game because it's against Rangers. I'm not nervous about the season. Every single game is like a cup final, and that is why Celtic perhaps they're not playing as well. I made the point earlier. We went into the season flat because we didn't have the opportunity to finish a quadruple treble and to go in with the big tall shoulders. Look at us lads, we were brilliant. That was taken away from us. But there's people are nervous because we're going for 10 in a row. We've never been. Our generation hasn't been here before. The previous generation, the Dad's generation has, where they were going for 10 and it didn't work out. I'm not worried about the season. I think we'll win the league. I'll put this in your podcast now, and you can phone me back in 9 months whenever it's over. I think Celtic will win the league between 9 and 12 points this year.
Big call, mate.
Comfortably. And that's a call. All the listeners can listen to that. Between 9 and 12 points, we'll win the league this year, because in the second half of the season, when you look at the depth and strength of our squad, even with 4 or 5 lads out and into tomorrow, that's not really, it's not ideal, but it's not, to me, we can't put it like this, we can't use Forrest, Christie, Alhamid, Beaton, with we thing over that. We can't use that as an excuse. We have got enough quality players in our panel, and you can use 5 subs. We've got quality enough players there to go out and win the game tomorrow. So I do think this year, but people are nervous and people need to get off the back of the Celtic a bit, off the backs of the manager.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the stats, Rory, the manager has a better win record than Brendan Rodgers. I'm not saying everything that Lanny does I agree with, but what I am saying is if Brendan Rodgers was a manager going into tomorrow, everybody be phoning you and I see him will win 6-0. There's just this wee better apprehension because it's Lanny.
Yep.
But sometimes he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He came in 2018 there, when we were in the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup. We got wins against Hibs and Hearts. We went on to win the Cup. We went on to win the league. We won the treble. We played shade against Rangers last year in the League Cup. We still won the match.
But then again, Chris, listen, them Rangers teams that Brendan Rodgers played were not the same Rangers team we're playing now. I mean, they were just getting back. I mean, they're a different outfit now, so like, I mean, I think that's not unfair to sort of say. Like,
100%, mate. I totally agree with you. And as I said there earlier, and people are probably listening, going, what's this talking about Rangers for? What's he talking about? But you have to look at the opposition. You have to look at the enemy. I mean, I look at Rangers quite a lot. They've played very well. I'm personally glad that they get into the Europa League because I don't want to sit Eastbourne on a Thursday night. They're sitting in Glasgow chilling out in their beds when we're away to Eastern Europe or somewhere like that playing a match. You know what I mean? I'm happy that they've got there because I don't want any distractions from this 10 in a row. That's the most important thing. But Rangers have improved. As I said, the lads, you've got Jack, you've got Kent, you've Arfield, you've Steve Davis, you've your boy Hadji. Morelos will score goals. Hasn't scored against us. He will one day.
You think so?
He will one day. I'm hoping it's not. He will one day. It's just,
he has to.
It's just stats. I'm hoping it's not going to be this season. But he might one day, you know. Yeah. And at the back, as I say, Taverniers come on. They're getting penalties by the square yard. So Taverniers one of the top scorers because they're getting so many penalties. You've got Goldson there. You've a good keeper. You've two good keepers behind the defence. So they have improved. So Lanny's up against a different outfit. But my opinion is we're still very, very much ahead of them in regards of our strength, the squad, the quality of our players. If we're able to put out our best 11 against their best 11, to me there's only one winner and it's us.
Right, so he's just commenting just like we should. It's Kev Pryor. Kev here from
Kev's a good lad and we're looking forward to bringing Kev in the club.